Donovan Mitchell scored 31 points out of his 140 throughout this entire season, playing off of the spot up thus far in his first 5 games. That is over 20% of his points. And so now notice why you got to add this as a small guard, right? And not just spot up threes, right? What you're going to see here is how the Cavs even have a whole entire set ran for him, right? Boom, Dean Wade on the screen. Now you see Jared Allen on the screen. What is this going to be? What is this for, right? What is Donovan Mitchell going to do? He's going to be right there, curl off to the corner, and he's going to take a moving three going down to the corner. And he's going to be able to knock it down, right? He's going to be able to knock it down. Right? And understand, he gets the set run for him because he is a threat in this area. You don't get a set run for you unless you're really a threat. Right? When the coach draws up a set, they know you could do something at a high clip. Like it's almost a guaranteed bucket's going to get you a really good look. Donovan Mitchell is so good at playing off the spot up, right? He's so good at playing off the spot up. He gets this shot here, a moving three going to the corner. This shot right here for Donovan Mitchell is easy money. You put him in the gym shooting this shot, he's going to knock it down at least an 80% clip. Another situation right here, right? Boston, again, going against Boston. Boom, cut by Hunter, comes off this first screen to the top, moving three, right? Going right, left. Right, he ends up missing that one nonetheless, but understand they're drawing up plays for him to shoot on the move, right? Sideline out of or baseline out of bounds again, right? You got Donovan Mitchell coming to that corner, curl, shot, fade, bucket, both going over both shoulders. He just went right, left, and he went left, right, and he knocked him down. And like I said, if you put him in the gym shooting this shot, he hitting this at an 80 to 85% clip at least, minimum, right? And probably going game speed. He's probably going to round this out about 80%. 4 out of every 5 shots he's knocking down, shooting these shots on the move at game speed. Like, and I'm not talking, oh, you're taking your time, a full-on sprint, getting to where you are, getting your feet set. Because mind you, in the corners in the NBA, it's hard to shoot a three because you have very little room. You have very little room right here. And so the ability just to simply do this will then be able to build your ability to hit tough shots off the dribble, right? Which is why you got to start at this foundation, right? Notice how he's going to be able to play off the spot up, right? Lonzo Ball got the rock at the top, right? Donovan Mitchell slips out, boom. Reverse pivot footwork from the three-point line. That's the type of stuff you got to add before you begin to try to get a step back. You got to really pay attention, right? These type of footworks. These footworks first beginning, of course, just know like the basic standstill stuff to start. And then you begin to add these little shooting stuff, these shooting footworks and movements, right? Look, catch, right? Caught on his right foot, left, right, turned and got squared, going straight up into a shot over the top of a player who's about 6'7", right? Probably 6'7", 6'8", boom, knocked it down. Bucket, right? So mind you, here, baseline out of bounds, or sideline out of bounds. Threw that into Mobley, catch, boom, step right into a shot, right? Bucket. I'm trying to tell y'all, right? I'm trying to tell y'all. Notice, this is game footwork, game speed. Off the catch, another bucket, right? Transition. Notice here, you got boom, Proctor right here. Donovan Mitchell, notice, calling for the ball on the weak side. This really makes his entire game so much easier, right? Put his hands up, he got 1 and 2 on the ball, right? Payne Pritchard, my mouse tweaking out. Right there, Payne Pritchard, and then he's got Derek White on the ball, right? So boom, calling for the ball. He throws that skip, catch, straight into a shot. 29 feet, bucket. That's light work. That's light work for him. This is why he's able to average 30 in the regular season and in the playoffs as well. He could average 30 in any given series, right? Unless they're double teaming, triple teaming the whole time, it's gonna make it very tough. But he could give you 30 in the playoffs easily as well. Why? Because he has this. That's tough. Quick feet, get set, get the ball, knock it down. That's another 3, right? Over here, another situation. Mind you, he's not even on the ball at this point. He's over here. Donovan Mitchell is over here. Weak side corner. If you're a small guard, you shouldn't need the ball to always be a threat. And if you need the ball to always be a threat, that's an issue. That's an issue. That's going to stop you from being able to get on the floor, right? That's going to stop you from getting on the floor straight up, because there's one basketball and 5 players. If you're only a threat when you have the ball in your hand, you're not going to be able to stay on the floor. Simple as that, which is why you got to add this in, right? So boom, Donovan Mitchell, weak side corner, holding spacing, kick, boom, get his feet set, knock it down. That stuff is what you got to work on. Notice how quick he's able to get his feet set, get into a shot off the catch, right? Right foot set down. Notice how he's going to get his feet set. Y'all need to learn this footwork in the corner. Notice how his right foot is set, right? And then after on this catch, he's going to, boom, bring that left foot in. He kind of slightly moves that right? But nonetheless, get straight up into a shot. You got to learn how to step laterally into your shot from the corner, right? And when I mean laterally, I mean, say you have the right foot set, right? You have this foot set, and then you have this foot out here, and then you got to move this in just ever so slightly so that you can get that foot underneath your frame so you can get up, right? Laterally. Not where one foot is here, right? And then you have another foot back here, and you're stepping into your shot like that. You got to be able to dribble or got to be able to step into your shot with that lateral stepping from the corners. That's the key, that lateral stepping, right? Things like this are really like it's the little details, it's the little stuff, right? So boom, knock down again, right? Watch him how he's going to be able to be on the ball, then get off the ball, and when he gets off the ball, he's not even going to rush to get the ball back, right? Because he's still a threat. So boom, kicks that to Dean Wade, bad pass, step into the shot from that wing, boom, right there, another bucket, knocked it down. Right, I'm trying to tell you, this is in his skill set. Look at this, off a make. A lot of y'all don't realize you could turn made shots into transition opportunities. Why? Because still, although you're taking the ball out, right? The defense still has to make their way, right, back to the other side of the floor. He has to get back to the other side of the floor. He has to get back to the other side of the floor. They all still have to get back. So when it comes down to being able to play and get to your spots, right? Donovan Mitchell, he's comfortable playing off the ball. He's comfortable letting another teammate bring the ball up and him holding spacing and letting another teammate cook. He's comfortable doing that. Why? Because like I said, this is over 20% of his buckets on the season. Over 20%. The other teammate runs a pick and roll, right? He ends up getting 2 on the ball because understand, right? You had a hard hedge happen right here. Let's go back. Let's break this down. Let's break this pick and roll down, as a matter of fact, right? Brooklyn running this hard hedge. This is where it's actually your benefit to not be on the ball. Your coach telling you not to have the ball in your hands is really to your benefit because he's trying to set you up for things like this, right? So pay attention. You come off a screen, right? Boom, hard hedge happens. Now, the second that this hard hedge is triggered, that means you have one person on the ball and then you have the second person here on the ball. Yeah, right? Get what I'm saying? Understand? So now 2 players on the ball. This player is going to have to run and get his way back to Allen, but in that meantime, somebody's going to have to cover for him. And now that's Williams right here, right? Williams right here. So boom, he's going to have to stay plugged on that. And where is he coming from, right? He's coming from Donovan Mitchell over here in this corner. So what does that mean? That this player cannot really leave until this player gets back. Until that player gets back, he can't go. He's still stuck exactly where he is. So in the meantime, what's going to happen from Proctor, right? Pay attention, right? He gets past this hard hedge. He makes a swing to Dean Wade. And now Dean Wade is going to make a quick swing to guess who? Donovan Mitchell in that corner, who is now wide open from 3, having this long closeout, and he's able to shoot this and be unfazed and knock it down from the corner. It's really to your benefit to add this to your game because, like I said, there's one ball, there's 5 players. Let's do the numbers. That means that if it's 100% of time of total possession on offense, on average, you'll have the ball for 20%. So why would you build your game according to the 20% and not work on that other 80%? Explain. Why? It's not smart. It is not wise. It is not wise, right? It's smarter to work on the 80% because it's the majority, right? Am I tweaking? Isn't that just logical? Because someone just think real quick. Like you're 80% of offense, 80% of the time, just on average, you're going to spend, right, without the basketball in your hand. And the 20%, you're going to have the ball in your hand. So why work on skills so much that are all based upon having the ball in your hand? I just need somebody to explain. I need somebody. Does it make sense? Someone let me know. Does that make sense or does it make sense? I need somebody to let me know. Because I don't know if I'm tweaking. Let me read the chat real quick. Yep. Logie's fan, it's a bar. What's up, fan? Big fan. Watch it for a while. I'm trying to... Amen. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the support. But like I said, bro, it don't make sense. It really don't make sense. And now you're going to probably be like, oh, why am I working on this all the time? I should work on things that's going to be the majority of offense. Because when you work on the majority, it's more likely going to lead you to succeeding. That 80%. These skills right here is that 80%. Right? This skill right here, being able to play off the spot up. Like I said, stepping in laterally into your shot. Boom, swing, quick into the shot, bucket. Trying to tell y'all. Boom, another situation. off a transition, off a miss, right? He's running his lane. He doesn't need to get the ball, right? Proctor at the top. Notice what ends up happening. Notice what happens with Mobley. Pay attention, right? Pay attention. Proctor gets here. Mobley cuts in. Boom. Post up on Yemen, right? Post up on Yemen. So what ends up happening at this point in time? Michael Porter Jr. sees this mismatch right here, and he sees this angle for a lob pass to Evan Mobley. So what is he going to do? He's going to come over and help. And so now who is he helping off of? Donovan Mitchell. And this is why you got to be prepared, because what happens when a defender is going to help off of you to be able to stop another one of your teammates? Are you going to be ready to be able to knock down that shot? Are you going to? Did you work on it? Did you prepare for it? That becomes a question. So now, boom, Porter Jr. helps in. He tags, skip to Donovan Mitchell in the corner, and he's just going to go and do what? Knock down the spot up three, because he's trained his game to have that in. Right? He's trained his game to have that in. Next possession right here. Donovan Mitchell, starting with the ball over here at the top, starting with the rock, initiates the play, throws it to Larry Nance. This is where y'all as guards, a lot of y'all going to be in this situation right here. I want y'all to pay attention. This is y'all, right? This is where y'all going to be. Right? You're going to be at the top of the key. You may be a point guard, right? You may initiate a play, but understand what's going to happen after you initiate a play. You have to remain a threat, right? Donovan Mitchell throws us to Larry Nance Jr., right? Boom. Throws us to Larry Nance Jr., goes to his left side, allows the play to be run, and then what ends up happening, right? Boom. Plug in, Donovan Mitchell, catch, and now he's going to be able to read that spot up opportunity, attack the paint, and get an easy 2 points. You've got to remain a threat. You've got to remain a threat. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. Boom, that plug-in happens. Because the second this plug-in happens, he's now going to have to go recover, especially on the fact that he ended up realizing that and throwing that back to Donovan Mitchell, right? So, boom, Donovan Mitchell's able to realize that. He jumps out further to that left side of Mitchell. Now Mitchell just catches, attacks off the closeout, 2 dribbles in the paint, boom, light dunk. Easy, simple, right? Little skills like that. Attacking closeouts, you need to begin to know, because this is the 80%. You're becoming a threat when the ball isn't in your hands, because the person with the ball is pulling in the defense. Last play right here, another situation. I really want y'all to watch this. I want y'all to really peep game. Donovan Mitchell coming up from this corner, right? Coming up from this corner, right? So now notice, you got Proctor over here. He's going to come and set a screen. He's going to set this little back screen. Pay attention, right? He goes up, sets the screen. They switch, right? Understanding that they switch, understanding that he now has a defender on his top side, what is now going to be the read? Should I just run up and try to force myself to get into this handoff, right? Or do I realize that there's an even better gap? Because on this weak side, you have Cade Cunningham prepared for another action. You have Tobias Harris prepared for another action to be run. And so guess what happens, right? There's no help in the entire paint. So Donovan Mitchell, running this action off the ball, is able to realize, guess what I could do? Slip out this way, right? So watch, peak game, just simple. He knows things like this, where he gets his lob pass here, layup right there at the rim. You will get yourself easy buckets. That's 31 points of his 140 on the season coming off the spot up. Y'all got to begin to learn the spot up before you learn other skills. This is over 20% of his buckets.